this evening to say that he is extremely busy this time of year, dressing up as a red suit with a white beard, as in the custom of. Sometimes they call him Papa Noel, or as David Thompson. Sometimes by all sorts of different names for good old Santa, who comes from what, and John is be busy doing that. It's one of his main parts of what he does this time of year. And so it's just me pretty much. So welcome tonight. So we have the normal storytelling round in conjunction with Get a Word in Edgeways, which is our festival here in Shropshire on the Welsh Marshes, and the World Storytelling Cafe, which is running from Waleed will be sat in the World Storytelling Cafe in Marrakesh and be flying the magic carpet for us this evening. And thank you very much again, Waleed, for your diligence and your hard work. It's a story round. That means everybody gets a chance to tell a story if they want to tell a story, and if they don't want to tell a story, they are very welcome just to sit and listen. And I'm going to ask some of my trusted and oldest friends in the storytelling world to go first. So we'll ask Keith and then Keith, as I've known them both for many years, and then we'll start. So we're going to go Keith, Wolverhampton first, Keith, Wolverhampton, Lincolnshire second, and then Donald from the high north of the border in sunny Glasgow. Is that the right expression? And then we'll go to Baba, and we'll take it from there and see who wants to do from that point on and everything. David, it's lovely to see you again. And so, without further ado, I'm going to ask you all to mute, which is the custom of what we do. And Baba, who's just left me, I'm sure he'll mute when he comes back, because I'm sure he won't be far away. And then, and Keith will ask you to get started.
Okie doke. The Tsimshian tribe of British Columbia in the mid-19th century lived in long wooden huts between the river and the woodland, the great forest of pines. And this was the darkest month of winter. And the tribe hadn't eaten for days and days, and they were huddled into the hut. And the old people shivered, and the children cried, and the wind howled outside. And a young boy listened to the wind, and he said to his grandfather, "Grandfather, that's not just the wind. There is something else on the edge of that wind." And everyone in the hut stopped and listened to the wind howling. And sure enough, on the edge of the wind, they could hear a wolf. And they shuddered again, for the last thing they wanted was a pack of wolves roaming around their huts at this time when they were so vulnerable. But the boy said, "No, no. The wolf is in pain. That is not a normal wolf call." And they listened again, and that howl on the edge of the wind surely was a wolf in pain. And he started to put on his coat and sheepskin coat and a hat. And his grandmother said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I must go and help the wolf. For that is what
Now I've got Keith freezing.
As have I.
Right, so Keith, if you can hear me, you're frozen.
Yeah, I've got that as well.
It's the tech imps acting up again.
Right, so I'm going to count to 10, and we'll see where we are. Now Keith's gone.
I think we just lost him. He'll be back.
Right, he'll be back. Right. Okay, well, I'll wait for him to come back in. So the second one on the list was going to be Keith from Lincolnshire, and we wish you a lot more luck, Keith, than Keith from Wolverhampton did. And
Yeah,
it's
thank you. Hello, everybody. Mike, when was you going to have that story around where we are going to bring some Christmas jokes? What was it this week or next week?
well, I thought it was going to be the one just before.
Oh,
Because
right.
in 2 weeks' time, it's going to be the 21st. But if you've got a decent Christmas joke, we'll all be really, really interested in hearing it just at the moment anyway.
We can, but I can save it for a fortnight's time if you want. What do you think?
It's up to you, my old friend. It
Okay.
really is.
Well, I'll save it. I think I'll save it. It's a story it's a joke you'll all know anyway. But anyway, I'll save it. I've just run across this one today, and it was in the country of Turkey a long, long time ago, and there was Bishop Nicholas, and he was looking after the people. He was very good in leading the church. Very good in looking after the people and particularly the poor. And it came to his attention that there was a poor man who had 3 daughters, no wife, 3 daughters. And the poor man didn't know what to do because he just had no money and he was starving and his children were starving. What was he to do? So he took the drastic step, a decision, to sell his 3 daughters into slavery. Now, Bishop Nicholas in Mara was very upset about this when he heard about this news from a neighbour. And the man had said to the neighbour, no, don't tell anybody. He wasn't say anything to anybody about my decision to sell my daughters into slavery. And it the bishop, he thought, well, what can we do about this? And we can't allow this man to. The bishop is often looking after the poor with all some surplus money he had from, because he was originally he was from a very rich family. And when he heard about this from this neighbour, he took a long way home. And as he was walking along, he would say hello to people, but very sort of downcast, really, and people just wondered what was wrong. And Bishop Nicholas, he went into his house and he went upstairs and he removed the floorboards from his bedroom and he took out a chest, a wooden chest. And in it, there was lots of gold coins. And he'd been giving away these coins over the years to lots of the poor people in Myra. And he had just some left. He thought, well, he took out the gold coins and he put them into 3 piles because there was 3 daughters, 3 children, and he put them into 3 piles. And then he took 3 leather bags and he put the gold coins into the 3 leather bags. And he took them under his cloak and he set off into the night. And he was careful that nobody would see him because the man that had the 3 daughters didn't want anybody to know what was happening. And so he crept through the night, and there's nobody around. And he came to the cottage of the old man that had the 3 daughters, and there was no light. Everything was deserted, but the window was open. And he took the 3 bags and he threw them through the open window into the cottage, and then made his way home, smiling to himself as he went. Now, the next morning, the 3 daughters of the man and the man, they woke up and they came down and they saw these 3 bags. Oh, what's in these 3 bags? And each of them opened the 3 leather bags, and there was gold coins. And their father said, oh, thank you, God, thank you for I won't now have to sell my daughters into slavery. And so the word got around that the monk had been doing these things, but he became famous, and Nicholas became famous, and words got around, and he eventually he was given a sainthood. He became Saint Nicholas, and as the stories goes on, that he came not he came associated with another big jolly man who left Christmas presents on Christmas Day to all the children in the land.
Well, thank you very much, Keith. Right, absolutely.
Needs a bit of work on that one, but I just read it, so
No,
I thought that was well done.
thank you.
no, I loved it. That's right. I see. So
I'm back.
Keith Rogers. I'm
Is that
just-
okay? Do you want me to carry on?
So yeah, we'll start. But go back to the beginning, Keith. Okay.
I'll go back to the beginning.
Yes, yes.
Okay. In the mid 19th century, the Sim-Siam tribe of British Columbia lived in long wooden huts between the forest and the river. And this is one of their stories. It was the darkest month of the year. The river was frozen, the ground was frozen. The tribe were huddled into the hut. Old people shivered, children cried. They had not eaten for days and days and days. And the wind howled around the hut. And a small boy spoke to his grandfather and said, "Grandfather, that's not just the wind. There is something else, another sound on the edge of the wind." And they all listened, and they heard the wind. And on the edge of that wind they heard an howl, the howl of a wolf. And they shivered, for the last thing they wanted was a wolf pack roaming around their village. But the boy spoke again, and he said, "No, that is not a wolf pack. That is a wolf on its own, a wolf in distress. And I must go and help it." His grandmother was outraged. "Stop, you can't trust a wolf." But he already had his coat on, sheepskin coat and a hat, and he was out of the door, and he felt the wind jagging at his coat. And as he walked into the forest, he could smell the pine trees and feel the snowflakes on his face. The wind now moaned in the tops of the trees, and his feet crunched in the snow as he walked forward. His heart beating faster, for he had decided yes, but he was apprehensive as well. Finally, he came to a clearing, and there, sure enough, was a wolf slumped, a whimpering sound coming from its mouth. The pack was long gone and left this wolf to die. As he approached the wolf, its great jaws opened, and in its throat he saw a bone stuck fast. The mouth opened again, and summoning all his courage, he reached in, took hold of the bone, and yanked it out. The wolf shuddered in pain and collapsed into the snow, red dots of blood surrounding his head. And the boy turned and walked out of the clearing, throwing the bone into the undergrowth, and carried on back. The next night, the wind was howling, but not quite so loud, and they heard the distinctive sound of a wolf. And the boy went out once more, and on the edge of the forest, he found a dead deer. And he dragged it into the hut and they cooked it and they ate for the first time in days and they felt full. The next night, there was a howl again and the boy went out, but this time the wolf stood a few paces away from him and he looked as though he was beckoning, and the boy followed the wolf into the woods, and the wolf showed him how you hunt, how you circle and work together, how you strike at just the right time. And each night and each morning the boy went out with the wolf and brought game back to feed the village. And as he grew, he taught the other members of the tribe how to hunt in this way, how to circle together, how to strike at just the right time. And there would be no winters in the future where this tribe went hungry. And the boy grew into a young man, and in that time, their boys were given a new name, their man name, and his name was Prince of Wolves. And he grew into an important member of the tribe, an elder, if you wish, someone everyone turned to for advice. And each day he would like to hunt in the forest, along with a great grey wolf. Thank you.
Keith, that was lovely. We got there. It's a lovely
Thank you.
story.
Sorry about that. Just said, oh, we're not
No.
off like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's winter time and there's storms in the UK at the moment. So
Gremlins in the works.
Gremlins in it. We're currently the UK and the north of the UK part where you get to the furthest northern part in the whole of the United Kingdom is a place called Muckle Flugger. And why I'm saying these and I'm stopping is I'm looking for Donald and he's not here. Oh, there he is. Sorry, you've moved.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Donald, you're there.
Yeah.
Yes. So the furthest point to the furthest northern part of Scotland and the United Kingdom is the lighthouse at Muckle Flugger that stands on the northern part of Shetland. And somewhere south of there is my friend Donald.
So that's me on next then.
I'd love to go there at some point. I will go there. I'll tell a story about Muckle Flugger, but still.
Right.
Okay. So Donald from Scotland.
Anyway, I actually wasn't planning on telling tonight because I'm a bit choked up. But let me tell you about a recent experience I had. My son lives in Los Angeles, and I flew from Glasgow to Dublin, because if you fly from Glasgow to Dublin, you go through American customs in Dublin, and it saves you an awful lot of hassle. So I thought that's fantastic. You know, it's just like uh, just fly to LA. But when I got to LA, and I don't know if anybody has been through Los Angeles Airport, LAX. Anybody? It's a nightmare. Okay, so I got off the plane, and I didn't have any, like I didn't have any luggage on the carousel. I just had my backpack, and I walked out. And instead of turning right, I turned left. And my son, who lives in, say, in LA, was waiting for me at the arrivals. Where did I go? I went the wrong way, and I went to the departures. So I'm sitting there, and he'd phoned me on WhatsApp when I was leaving, and they said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm on the." If you know LA airport, there's this big travelator. So I said, "I'm on the travelator." Fair enough. Got outside, found myself out a bit. I'd been there twice before, so I didn't recognise this place that I was in, right? So I'd also got a like a, a USA SIM card, but it hadn't kicked in yet. So my son's trying to phone me, and I'm sitting there, and I don't know where I am in this massive, massive airport, which is about the size of Glasgow, and uh, I'm sitting there, and I'm almost crying, you know. And there's this young man sitting next to me with a yellow vest on, and I said, "Excuse me, could you help me? Could you just phone this number?" And uh, like my son is meant to pick me up, and I think I'm lost. The guy phones a number, and Callum's phone has gone to sleep. So I was like, "Oh, can you phone my daughter-in-law?" He phones my daughter-in-law, but she's putting my grandson to bed, so her phone's switched off. And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm stuck in LA. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't get an Uber. I just don't, you know." And uh, suddenly, the guy's phone rings. This young man in a yellow vest, a young Hispanic man, and it's my son, and he puts it on speakerphone. And I said, "Callum, this guy has phoned you because I can't get my phone to work. So where are you?" And he said, "No, where are you?" And I said, "I'm outside departures." Now, what I didn't know was in LAX, there's like 3 departures, you know. And what one of you, and the young man that I was with said to me, "We're on the first level." And by that time, it was like an hour. It was like an hour after I arrived, and Callum was absolutely bricking himself that I'd been lost. I was doing the same, and uh, eventually, the young man in yellow in the yellow vest went and found them and brought him back to me. And I got a lift home, and I, when I got a lift home, my 2-year-old grandson, 2-year-old grandson, was still up out of his bed, and I got to see him after a year and a half. And that's my scary, scary story of being stuck in LAX. And if anybody's ever been there, it's
Well,
frightening.
I've never been to the airport in LA, but I have been to the airport in Chicago, and I would think that the airport in Chicago is probably about the same size as the one in LA. And
Yeah,
we all
it,
had
it,
like there's an
May you
there's an
never
old
ever
saying,
have to go through the airport in Atlanta, Georgia.
right?
It is the
I'm
world's
sure.
busiest airport between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, Heathrow's supposed to be the world's busiest one, and I've spent a lot of time in there. And I think we could spend the next 4 hours doing horror stories about a race to the bottom of boat. And there's an old saying before we move on, and I'll say, you've all heard it before, and I'm sure you'll hear it again. If you want to give God a laugh, tell him your travel plans.
David will get David
Well,
Thompson.
all I did was take a wrong turning in the airport.
Oh, I don't know. And
it's
the other
just
side,
all that.
the other minor problem we have, Donald, is that everybody drives on the wrong bloody side of the road if you get outside of the UK.
Yes.
Eh, my cousin David will probably get this, but my favorite airport is Amtrak. That's our train system. That's our train system.
Well, at least you've got one. We're taking ours is taking 10 years longer to build and costing us a fortune. So I wouldn't worry about train. Right. So we're going to move on to, we talked to Baba. So thank you, Donald. That was just what we wanted. That's great. Everybody give him a wave. Everybody.
You
give
warmed
him
the cockles of my heart. I don't know what a cockle is, but you warmed it.
Over to you, Baba, who I see you are doing something on the 26th of December, on the Friday.
Yes.
We call it Boxing Day. What do you call it?
On Friday, I will be doing a Kwanzaa story. And Kwanzaa is a African-American holiday. And it goes from the 26th of December to the 1st of January. It was created by the Honorable Dr. Malanga King. I forgot his last name. David, help me out if you think about it. But it was created because everybody in the United States, every culture has a celebration except for African Americans. And he thought that was unfair. So he created that. It's 7 days. Every day you practice a specific principle. And I'll be telling you more about that on the 26th and stories for children. But I'm telling you, it's wonderful. And it also gets me some extra gigs in December. So that's great.
Okay, Baba C, it is Malana Ran Karenga.
Thank you. I sometimes invert it and get it backwards. And I've only been doing this for 30, 40 years, you know?
Hey, it
But
happens.
But thanks,
Well,
cuz.
that's okay. Well, you're a bit of a newcomer then, really, Baba. But just before you get started, Vito, are you doing a story tonight? Right, so you go after Baba, okay? Okay, sorry, Baba, where you go.
Yeah, I'm sort of in a quandary. I don't know whether to do the King of Numbers or the King's Ring. Now,
The King of
neither
Numbers.
the King of
I'd love-
Numbers.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay,
hear that.
I will do that. And but both of them have to deal with honor and wisdom. So the King of Numbers it will be. And you have to pardon me, but I have to start it off with my usual introductory. And my system is set, so I'm going to do it. I won't hold it as long as I can, but I am going to hold it for a minute. Here we go. This story took place a long time ago. I was going to hold it longer, but Mike is making me laugh. That's hard to get me to do. David, I see you going, no, not again, not again. But yes, it's my signature, my left hand. So, now, in many African traditions, in fact, in many African American traditions before the event of desegregation, a man had two things worth more than gold. And all three of those things was his word. All right? So, and come to think of it, this story has nothing to do with that. But that's all right. I'm going to tell it anyhow. So, you see, in a village, in a Kijiji, there was a very wise king by the name of Simba. And Simba means lion. Not liar, but lion. All right. And King Simba, all of his people loved him dearly because he made sure everyone had a decent place to live. He made sure everyone had decent food in their bellies. Oh, he looked after his people. He looked after them. But you know, as it is with the world, you're born, you grow up, you grow older, and eventually you become an ancestor. And King Simba was sensing that his time was growing near. And so he sent his messenger throughout the kingdom shouting, "Come to the king's palace! Come to the king's palace! Come to the king's palace! And people stopped what they were doing, and they looked at each other, and they very quickly went to the king's palace. Now the king had a huge compound, and all the people gathered in the center of the compound, where the king sat on his very ornate Ashanti stool. An Ashanti stool is a seat of authority. And he sat there, and the king said, "My people, I love you all, and I know that soon I'll be joining the ancestors. But before that happens, I want to make sure that everyone is taken care of, that no one goes hungry. So I'm going to open up the treasury, and I'm going to give everybody the amount of money they ask for. So I want you to think, and when the treasurer points at you, you tell him how much money you want, and he will give it to you." And with that, King Simba sat back, and he watched. And everybody was thinking. I want everybody to think. You don't have to have a beer, but I want everybody to think. And so finally, one person stepped forward. It was a giraffe. And the giraffe said, "I want 600 manila." Now, manila is a coin. And he stepped back in line. The hippopotamus stepped forward and said, "I want 4,300 manila." He stepped back in line. And this went on and on and on until it got to the tortoise. Now, in some version, they say turtle. I'm going to switch back and forth, even though they're different animals. And the tortoise says, "I want 1 manila." Now I want everybody to unmute, 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 unmute. Please unmute so I can stop saying that. Everybody unmute, 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 unmute. And repeat after me. What, you crazy?
What? You crazy?
You crazy?
You
The
crazy?
king is giving away all the manila. You crazy?
You crazy?
Crazy?
Now go back to mute, go back to mute, go back to mute. And the turtle said, "Eh, eh, eh. The treasurer asked you how much manila you want. You want 4,300 manila? You want 1,200 manila? You want a bazillion manila? That's not even a number. I asked for 1 manila. That's what I want. 1 manila." Now everybody stay on mute, but shake your head no. Like, poor thing. Like, bless your soul. So, the king's treasurer looked at the giraffe, and the giraffe said the amount of manila he wanted, and the treasurer said 1. And the tortoise stepped forward, took the 1 manila, put it in the shell, stepped back in line. Everybody looked at me like, what the? And then the next person wanted 46,000 manila, and the treasurer said 1, and the tortoise stepped forward, took the 1 manila, put it back in his shell, stepped back in line. The person that wanted a bazillion manila, that's not even a number. The treasurer went 1, the tortoise stepped forward, took the 1 manila, put in his shell, got back in line. And this went on and on and on, and after a while, everybody unmute. This is interactive, everybody unmute. That includes you, Donald. Everybody unmute. Everybody repeat after me. What is your problem?
What is
What
your
is your
What is
problem?
your problem?
You taking all the manila.
You taking all of the
Oh,
manila.
the manila.
Okay, the echo is back. The echo is back. Everybody go back to mute. Go back to mute. Go back to mute. And the tortoise said, "Eh, eh, eh. The treasurer asked you how much manila you want. You said 46,000. You said a bazillion. That's not even a number. You wanted 2,300. You wanted 43. I asked for 1 manila. Every time the treasurer say 1, I take my 1 manila." And that's what he did. And before the end of the day, the tortoise had all the manila in the treasury. He was so rich, he had to hire servants to help his servants take all his manila home. Well, not long after, a sad day and a joyous day came, for King Simba became an ancestor. The sad part was He was no longer physically with the people in his Kijiji, his village, but the joy was they knew he was now an ancestor watching over them. And in this kingdom, you did not become king just because. The people actually voted on the king, but it was a lifetime appointment. And they were debating on who to have the king. Someone said the crocodile, someone said the monkey, someone said the giraffe, and everybody they just came out. And then someone said, no, it must be the tortoise. Because they understood something in that instance. And what they understood was the wisdom of the tortoise. You see, the tortoise understood before you can start everything, you must first have one. Before you can build a house, you must have first one brick, one mud patch, one wood slat. Before you can make a roof, you must have at least one piece of thatch, one leaf. Before you can do anything, before you can cook, you must first have at least one bean, one pot, one amount of water. No matter what you need, you must start with one. So I ask you, what is the king of numbers? And being the wise people you are, I know you're saying, like my cousin Donald in Texas, I know you're saying one. And that is the story of the king of numbers. And that is the story between the two stories I was going to tell, the one that won over Asante.
Well, and Baba, you always got to remember that you cannot start a journey wherever you want without taking one step.
The thing of a journey, 1,000 journeys begins with one step. Yes.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well done, Baba. That's brilliant.
And I hope I won you over with that.
Well, you didn't come second, so you've won something. Okay. Right, so we're going to go to Evita, and then after Evita, Path. Is he still here? Is he gone? No, he's gone.
He seems to have gone. I thought he just wanted to listen.
Right. No, I was just going to check again. So David,
He did say he
will come
wanted to
you,
listen.
and then Julian after David. Okay, is that okay? Right. Okay, so we have an order. So it's Evita, and then David, then Julian. Okay, so over to you, Evita. So where are you today?
I'm still in the center of Switzerland, but only until January, and then I'm off to Marrakesh.
Are you going to
Lucky
Marrakesh
me.
in January?
Yes, I am, and I hope you
Well,
all come and visit.
Well, Keith and I are going to be there at some point in January, so.
Oh,
Tell
excellent,
Mike
because
I
I'm
said
going
hello.
to... I'm
Tell
going to be there
Mike
for
Wood
7
I
weeks.
said hello.
Yeah, Keith Rogers and I, we're looking to be there in January. Yes. Okay.
Well, we'll have to talk outside of here because I have a residency. I'm the resident storyteller at the cafe for 7 weeks.
That's brilliant. We'll come and listen.
Oh, we'll do something together. Now, first, I was going to tell you this a Swiss story from around here about the devil. And then I went, oh, there's going to be a lot of Christmas stories. Jesus, I've got to tell you one of the funnier stories about that. But I had such a wonderful experience yesterday. Baba was part of the International Young Storytellers with me. And it was very, very nurturing. In between that and the memorial for Dr. Rafid, who did the famous poem, If I Must Die, I recorded a story as part of the Tell a Gaza Child's Tale. And this young lass is 12 years old, and she's only recently shared a story that she had created. I hope Ali is still there if he can hear us. And somehow, I just feel like I need to honor her by sharing this story with you. So here comes a story from Gaza, told, crafted and told by a 12-year-old girl called Lila. Haza salam, falima salam, nudur tuntu alimu kalbi fil manan, kalimun ma'ada, Talimin wa ainun tunjur fumain fi fadayin finafadayin la makana lahu fi wujud. Milala, milala, la 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 la. At one time, light had no color but ash in the besieged city of Gaza. And there was a girl, 12 years old, Lila. And Lila carried a secret, both small and great at once. For you see, the children in Gaza have no homes and no toys, but they have a vast imagination. Lila had her blue butterfly. The butterfly wasn't quite real, more like an imagination. Figure a star that falls onto the earth, and the only people that can see it are the ones who have a heart full of hope. Lila met her blue butterfly. It appeared to her for the first time when she was stuck under the rubble. It whispered to her about the world above the bricks and stones. Lila listened. The butterfly was her only companion at night, devoid of any light. The butterfly told her stories about endless strawberry fields, about calm seas, untouched by warships, about clear skies, unbroken by the roar of airplanes and the buzzing of drones. The butterfly nurtured Lila's soul so she could dream of a better tomorrow where she could fly on her own wings after days stuck on the rubble. One day, when breathing became really difficult, the sky burst into flames, and Lila felt a heat and a fire she had never known before. At that moment, hope began to slip out of her heart. The butterfly began to fade, but it whispered, Lila, Lila, don't let hope slip away. As long as you believe in us, we are still here. So Lila took a painful breath. You know, said the butterfly, that strength is not in wars, Lila. It is in hearts that refuse to be broken. Try and see if you may succeed. Lila felt a bit stronger, and she decided she would try to escape. So first, she screamed at the top of her lungs. She screamed and screamed, hoping that some neighbors would hear her and find her. And then, with each stone she pushed and lifted up, she said, this is hope. And this is a light that will never, ever go out. And after a while, you know, Lila's butterfly is not real, but Lila definitely is. After a while, she donned her most colorful wings. She could feel life getting closer. She could see light approaching, and her heart filled with strength. And her eyes saw through a little gap in the rocks a light, and a blue butterfly. A blue butterfly that was shining brighter and brighter, like a beacon in the darkest of nights. A butterfly? A blue butterfly in Gaza? No. Gaza in a blue butterfly. Lila departed. The butterfly faded and only left the wisp of a shape behind and a long trace of hope. Mi-la-la, mi-la-la, la 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 la, mi-la-la, Haza Salam. A story told by a 12-year-old girl in Gaza. Thank you.
Thank you, Avita. That was lovely. And we can all just pray to whatever your God is, as they say, that peace will come one day to that region. However it comes, peace will come one day. Right. So now I'm going to go over to David Thompson, who I believe is in Texas.
You got it.
Yeah. Which is just south of somewhere and
South
north of
of
somewhere
Canada.
else. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. It's been a while since I've been able to come back. Lots going on. We have the 41st annual Texas Storytelling Festival coming up in March, and I'm one of the co-artistic directors, and we won't go any further than what's going on with that. If you've ever had to deal with an event, especially a multi-day event, help planning, you understand what I'm talking about. Anyhow, I'm going to tell a story that's totally different. It's been a while since I've told it before. And I think it's pretty good that we might need to hear this, particularly after what Evita was saying and what Mike was saying and all that. And this is called The Man Who Searched for Truth. There was once a man who, in a small village, was so tired of hearing everyone gossip about this person or gossip about this person or tell a lie about this person or backstab this person or like, did you hear what so-and-so was doing, blah, 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 blah. Those type of people. He was so tired of just being there. And he made up his mind that he was going to go and search for truth, where there was truth. So he got his bag, his pouch, his whatever, and his staff, and he left. He was walking and walking. It was a very pleasant road. It was. It was just flat and some lovely flowers and trees on the side. Every once in a while, an animal he would see, and he would pass other people on the road, merchants or travelers, and they would, how are you, and how far is the next town? The usual what you would do when you're traveling. Well, he got to the first town, and it was quite lovely. It really was. People were singing and dancing in the streets and having their market, and the kids were playing. And he said, well, this is a very nice place. Maybe this is where I'm going to find truth. So when he was in the marketplace, was talking about people, this merchant said, oh, you're not from around here, are you? He says, no, I am not. And how long are you staying? Are you just passing through? And oh, by the way, what is your name? Well, the man said the first word that came into his mind is, my name is Pilgrim. Oh, welcome, Pilgrim. Do you need a place to stay? Because my son is gone for the whole week, and it's an empty house, and my wife and I would like for you to stay with us for at least a day or two, and we'll see if you'd like to stay here. He said, well, that's very kind of you, sir, very kind. So Pilgrim went with the merchant and had a nice time that evening, talking and sharing stories with each other. Then the next day, Pilgrim decided it was to go out into the marketplace to find out everything was going on. And he went out there, and he was very shocked. He saw people harking, wilted vegetables as, oh, these are the freshest ones in town, blah, blah, blah. And people saying, this is solid gold, when it turned out it was really just a painted rock. And then he heard people, oh, did you hear about so and so? Oh, I heard this. Oh, I believe. And then the gossip was going, and he was listening to all the lies being told by the vendors. And he says, I can't stay here. I have to find truth. I have to find a village where they speak truth. So he went back to where he was staying and thanked the merchant and said, I must leave. He says, okay, well, I hope you find what you're looking for, Pilgrim. Take care. Well, Pilgrim kept on walking on the next road, and it was a lovely road also, trees and bushes, maybe an animal or two. And he would pass people on the road, and how far are we away? How are you? What are you doing? Blah blah. Just real quick, you know how it is when you talk with strangers. So he went into the next village. Oh, and the next village was smaller than the first village, but it was quaint. That's a good word for it. It was quaint, and seemed to like it. It was relatively quiet. The children were playing in the streets and all that. And so he was went to the marketplace, and he went into this to a cafe and had some coffee and hear people talking. And oh, we're a stranger. Where are you from? We don't get many strangers here. And Pilgrim told him he was on the search for truth. You would love our town. Our town is nothing but people who speak truth and only truth, and there was nothing other than that. You must stay for a while. I have a room in my home. You can stay for about 2 or 3 days. And if you like it, we can help you find a place to live here and a place to work and things. But yeah, come. So Pilgrim says, well, thank you very much. And he goes into the second house. He's a merchant also, the merchant's house, and had a very lovely evening with the merchant and his wife telling stories, drinking coffee, and that sort of thing that you do. And the next day he went out into the marketplace, and the same thing. People selling withered vegetables. Oh, they're the freshest you can see, and this is the most beautiful gold. The same thing you always hear. And then he heard it. He heard the lies. He heard the people gossiping. He went on and on and on. And he says, I cannot stay here. I'm going to have to leave. I must go find truth. So he did. The next day, he bid goodbye to his friend, the merchant, got his pouch, his bag, and his walking staff, and they just started walking to the next village. And he met people on the road going back and forth. And it was a lovely flat surface road, and no problems, no potholes or anything like that. And he came to even a smaller village. And this village was at the bottom of a large, or shall we call it a small mountain. And he says, oh, this is so peaceful here. It's so lovely. And he was walking around. There's very few people on the street. It must have been lunchtime. He wasn't certain. And he came upon the village fountain, and there he saw an old lady. She was filling her bucket with water to take home. And he says, oh, madam, I have a question for you. She said, yes, how can I help you? And he says, well, I'm a stranger here. My name is Pilgrim. She says, well, I know you're a stranger here. We know everyone who lives here. So they talked, and she said, well, what do you do? He says, well, I'm looking for truth. Ah, truth. She lives at the middle you see that cave up there on the mountain? That's where truth lives. You could go up and talk with her if you'd like. There's some stairs in the stairway. It's not too bad. You have to be a bit careful when it's icy, but go on up and talk to truth if you wish. And by the way, do you need a place to stay for the next day or two? He said, yes, I do. You don't seem to have a tavern in town. And so she said, yes, come, you can stay with me. So that evening they had a lovely time having dinner and coffee and telling stories. And then the next day, Pilgrim got up, got his pouch, got his staff, told the old lady that he was going to go see truth. And so he did. And he kept walking and walking, and he came to that carved staircase. It's very interesting. And it wound around, and he just up, and finally he came up to a landing, and there in front of him was a big golden door. Round it was. And he says, this must be where truth lives. I bet you she's beautiful. Oh, she must be the most, well, maybe she's ugly, like the ugly truth, or beautiful truth, or I don't know. But I need to talk with her anyway. So he goes up to the door and he beats down it 3 times. The 3, you always give 3 knocks anyway. And the door opened. He saw in the middle of the way back a lovely lady up from the back, and she was stirring a pot and adding some brew here and some brew here and some maybe that was wine she was pouring into it. He doesn't know. And he says, "Oh, hi there. My name, I know your name is Pilgrim, and I've got to see me and speak truth. You want to see truth? Well, yes, yes, I do." And she says, "Well, wait just a moment. Tell me of your adventures." So he did. Pilgrim told him about the two other villages. And Truth nodded, put her paddle down that she was using to stir the kettle, slowly turned around, and he was shocked. She was neither beautiful nor ugly. She was what we would call plain. And she said, "You're shocked? Sometimes you just have to face the plain truth."
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah. You heard about the man who went searching for the perfect woman. So he sat there. He was the prince, and he said, "I'm going to marry the perfect woman." And his father turned round to him and said, "Go and find the perfect woman and come back." So he travelled to the north, and he travelled to the south, and he travelled to the east, and he travelled to the west. And finally, in one of those strange foreign lands, where somewhere like Africa, they speak funny languages and talk to people in different ways and things like that, he found a perfect woman. She was beautiful. She was clever. She had all the wobbly bits in the right wobbly places, and she was highly intelligent. She could sing, and she could tell stories and everything else. And he sat there for a week with her, and then he came home. And his father said, "You found the perfect woman. What happened?" And he said, "Oh, she wanted the perfect man."
And yet I'm still single.
Right, so we're going to go to Julian. Your name has come before you, Julian. So it's Mike here, sat in Shropshire. It's your part of the Wolverhampton and the Birmingham Storytelling Cafe and stuff.
I am part of anywhere that will sit still long enough to actually allow me to tell a story at the mic. But yes, I followed after yourself and John at Gloucester a few months ago, and that was a deeply intimidating experience. But never mind. It's all good. Right now, this is a Christmas story of sorts because I think we may all be aware of this. Certainly in this country, that once you get past, there's Christmas Day and there's Boxing Day, and there's Christmas Eve before that, and that all makes sense. But the thing is, after that, you've got New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, but the bit between tends to get a bit spongy. People don't quite remember exactly where we are with that one. You have to ask yourself, well, is today Tuesday, or is it Thursday? And is it the 27th or the 29th? I don't know. Now, there's a reason for that. But to find out the reason, we have to go all the way back to ancient Egypt, of all places, which is not particularly Christmassy, but stay with me. Imagine yourself in ancient Egypt before the birth of Christ, before even the creation of humans, and see the burning sands still there, and above them all, blue and wide and beautiful, arcs the sky, and the sky goddess incarnate, and her name is Nut. She is the goddess of the sky, and she arcs over and above her brother, the earth god Geb. Now, Nut is married to the sun god Ra, and every day he travels through her body, the blue beauty of her sky, until he descends on the western side of the Nile, on the death side of the Nile, and is carried below, and it all becomes dark. And that darkness is created by Nut coming together with her brother, her lover, Geb. Now, that obviously seems strange to our modern sensibilities, but this was ancient Egypt and they were gods. So the rules were a little bit different, and we won't hold that against them. They created darkness, and all through the night they stayed together until the morning came and Ra resurfaced. But as such deception tends to happen, Nut's infidelity with her brother and her infidelity to her husband Ra was discovered, and Ra, the king of the gods, was furious, and he cursed Nut, and he said that she could not have any children. This was the bitter curse he laid on her, that she would have no children on any day of the year. Now Nut was distraught, and so, as she tended to do when she had a particularly difficult problem to solve, she went to Thoth, who was the god of wisdom and incidentally another of her lovers. And she asked him what to do. And he told her to go to Khonsu, the god of the moon and the god of time, with a plan. And so she did, and she played him at a game. Now, we may call it chess. It almost certainly wasn't chess. It may have been the ancient Egyptian game, which we now call Senet. I don't know, but it was a game of stakes. And Nut won, and she won 5 times when she played Khonsu. And this was all part of Thoth's plan, because he had told her that when Khonsu asked how he should repay his debt to Geb, she should tell him that he needed to put 5 new days into the calendar. And so he did. And Ra, who didn't pay attention to such things, he was far too busy and important and self-important and puffed up, didn't notice these extra 5 days being added to the calendar. But of course, they stood outside of the boundaries of his curse. So Nut immediately went to Geb, and they created children, 1 a day over those 5 days. The first day, they created Osiris, the god of life, of death, and the flooding of the Nile, who would eventually replace Ra. And the next day, they gave birth to Horus, god of the sky, first king of Egypt, the first ever pharaoh, whose eye cried the tears that would become the first people. On the 3rd day, Set was born, the god of the desert, the god of thunder, evil, and suffering, who would later kill Osiris. On the 4th day, Isis was born, goddess of healing and protection, who would bring Osiris back to life. And finally, Nephthys, goddess of death, was born on the day that the old year dies. Now, these days were never in the calendar. They were outside of time. And to the ancient Egyptians, these were the demon days, the days when you did nothing if you could possibly avoid it. And in many ways, things are quite similar now. So if you find yourself in those days wondering exactly why you can't quite remember what day it is, what you're meant to be doing, what day of the week it is, just remember that this all came from a woman breaking a curse that was placed upon her by a jealous man. And bear that in mind as we head towards the new year. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Julian. Yes, well, I have a lot of use for that. That happens to me a lot, actually. So, just to finish up, the next one of these, I know on the program it says something different, but at the moment I'm looking to be a fortnight's time, which will be the 21st of, and I'm going to do one then, and I want a more comedic one. We can do some serious Christmas ones. I never have any rules, but that's the time, Keith, for you to come and tell us some jokes and stuff like that. But let's have a bit of Christmas fun. So on the Friday the 12th, the 6 p.m. one on UK time will be Jill or Leicester. All right, and I'm afraid she's a lady. I'm going to repeat back. Doesn't matter. It's Jill or Leicester. I hope that's how you pronounce her name. and I'm looking forward to that. On Saturday, on the December the 13th, we've got personal stories with Sinem, and that is really interesting. I'll go to do that. And on the our October club is on December club is on Monday, on the 8th. And I know Keith is planning to be there. Well, I'm hoping Keith is planning to be there. And that's in the Pottery in Much Wenlock, where we'll all gather with and it'll be the one. This will be our finishing one for 2025. The next one will be back in the new year, and we'll have all sorts of things to say. And I think that's all the announcements we've got. And now, Ali, you've been here all this while. You did say at the beginning that you didn't want to tell a story, so I am taking you on that. It's a pleasure to have you here, and I hope you can come back again. And so I'm going to call it at that moment. We've been going an hour and a few minutes, and it's a lovely just an hour of stories and a meeting together of all different people from over the world. Thank you for coming. I'll see you all in a fortnight if I don't see you personally. And if Evita could stay just for a moment, and Keith, if you can. And Waleed is in the Storytelling Cafe, Evita, so I don't want to keep him there too long. Donald, it's always lovely to see you again. Keith from Lincolnshire, it's always lovely to see you again. Baba, I'm sure we'll have a competition next time we're in Marrakesh. You can say ja for more than a minute, and that would just be fun.
Yeah. Listen, mate, I'm sorry I couldn't make it to get a word in edgeways, but I'd already planned to go to California. So,
did you say California?
Where would you rather be?
Hey, Donald, the 9th, 10th, 11th, 2026. We've booked the venues already, so we're having another festival. So
right,
come
mate.
to that one. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just come to that one. Okay. So good night, everybody. And if I don't see you before, have a good Yuletide and all the other things. But I will be here one more time. And some of you I will meet in person before then anyway. Thank you for being here. I couldn't do this without you people coming along, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Right. Thanks very much, mate.
I was lucky I was able to stay to the end. Everyone stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
Hey, everyone.
Okay. See you all then.
Now I got a jet.
All right. And so, Ali, you still there?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yeah, too much. Thank you.
We'll be here in a fortnight's time. Come along again, my friend.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay,
Have a nice
You
day.
take care.
Bye.
Ma salama.
Right. Just quickly, Evita. So, Keith and I are planning to come over to Marrakesh sometime towards the end of January. We're doing a school project and I want to do one of these from the Storytelling Cafe. So
excellent.
It'll fit in with the Sunday evening fortnightly one. I'm looking to leave probably on a Thursday and fly out again on a Monday. That's what I'm not sure what Keith is doing exactly. And we haven't actually talked to Mike Wood yet about the hotel, but he has said that is okay. So we haven't got dates yet. Okay.
Yeah, I think until the 27th, I think they're fairly empty. But my nephew just said it's the African Cup, so maybe it'll all fill up very quickly. But I'm sure we'll work around it.
Well, we haven't sorted out dates yet. Keith and I we're meeting tomorrow. We've got a club, but there's another project coming through to do with schools and things. And there's the international school. Which school is it, Keith?
It's the Montessori International School in Marrakesh. So I've been doing
fantastic.
Zoom meetings with them. The children have been developing children's storytellers. And so it'll be a nice opportunity to go into the school and do it live. We've done 3 or 4 sessions on Zoom, and it's coming along nicely.
Yeah.
And the school are very keen on it, about giving children confidence and public speaking and so on. And they're calling it the Storytelling Guild. And they've got a storytelling session. So what I thought was that if Mike and I come over, we try and get advertise the cafe to the parents.
Yes, that sounds fantastic.
So perhaps they'll come to the cafe and listen to stories from yourself or from us. you know, as well. So, but I don't know whatever your arrangement is, we'll be in touch. Mike, if we actually discuss it tomorrow night, Mike, but also if you're able to come on the 21st, Evita, then perhaps we could take 5 minutes like we're doing now, discussing. We'll have a clearer idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice
Yeah, we'd love to meet up with you again.
to get
Evita.
together
We'd
and
love to join in.
do session like we did when we were Marrakesh back in.
We'd love to meet up with you again, Evita. We'd love to join in, and I specifically want you to be there at this when we're doing this from the cafe. When we're doing this from the cafe.
We're thinking of Thursday
That
to
sounds
Monday.
good.
You see,
And also think, oh gosh, terrible echo. Just think about if you would like to do something to three of us, just a thickening, and then we'll advertise it at the cafe for the tourists.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to, including Omar and Sohail and one of us as well. So we could have a nice
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Yeah, Omar's no longer there, but he might be busy.
Getting a really bad echo. So I'll email you, Evita. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye then.
John, he knows everything.
See you tomorrow, Keith.
Bye, Evita. See you tomorrow, Mike.
Ta-da.
See ya. Thank you, Waleed. Masalama.